Hey, what's up? It's TL Gamer, and welcome to Musical Chairs in Real Life. Let me begin by explaining what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, so Musical Chairs in Real Life is going to show you an example of just how stupid things are in general. And since this channel here that I run is mainly about gaming, I'm going to be using a lot of stuff that went down in gamer news in the past couple of weeks, including an email, which I'm going to start off this video with when I get into it, from somebody that messaged me something that was classic. So the whole point of this entire segment is to show what happens in gaming just applies everywhere. This includes people that are trying to talk to politically, SJWs, just in general. What I'm about to show you, I've always said, if you want to find out just how stupid people are on the internet, go read gaming forums. And this just doesn't include the people as far as the players and the consumers. This includes the stupidity level of the idiot designers and the assholes that go to work for these corporate bastards who are trying to appease their stockbrokers. Now, I've listed this under Cyberpunk 2077 because that's one of the main things talked about. But first, let me get into this by exposing an email. Well, I don't want to say sorry. That's a bad choice of words. I'm going to show an email that was forwarded to me by somebody who had some issues with Elder Scrolls Online. Now, for those of you that know, I'm open and honest about, my issues with fucking ZeniMax Online Media. I don't give a shit if they've been bought out by Microsoft. The fact of the matter is, this has got to be one of the fucking dumbest companies ever, because this is the company I literally pressed legal issues against. So, again, I fucking don't like talking about them unless it's warranted. So let me get into what the first thing this person sent me. Now, what I've done, for a heads up, is I've taken the emails. I'm going to show them on screen. Obviously, I've blacked out the person's email, like his whole email or their whole email address. And I'm going to show you what exactly has been going on with this. All right, so first things first. And I've broken this down into four. I've taken a snapshot of the email, so I'll break it down to you. But I wanted you to, see this. People forward me shit. Like, I've literally gotten said, "Oh, you don't really get things because you don't show them." I can't stand that type of mentality with fucking morons, because it's like, I don't need to show you anything. I'm not going to, because if you are familiar with my channel, I don't fucking expose who sends shit, because number one, that's not my place to be doing. And even if they do tell me, I still don't, unless it's somebody I'm literally getting attacked by. Then I'll fucking provide their information within reason. All right, so first things first. Here's an email from Samuel Tanner, and this is the first part. So I broke them down into two sections, and there's a total of 4 images that I'll give you. So first thing I want you to pay attention to is the incident itself, which is 20-1220-006. So point being is that because I cut the email up, I left in the actual incident for what it is. So, first of all, what this person did, I wouldn't have been as subtle about this, but this person responded correctly. Because, like I said, I've had dealings with ZeniMax Online Media, and they're just fucking idiots. So let me let me get into reading this here. Okay, so apparently this person got a warning from the forum. Now, if you know me in forums, I don't give a flying fuck what anybody does in a forum. I don't like forums because of how they operate. It's like trying to talk to fucking people politically. You can't, because you get drowned out if you don't go with the flow. And that's one of the fucking problems here, but it's still funny. So this right here is the start of problems in. It's one of the main starts in gaming, because you can blame a person for doing shit, but the individuals that make the game and the people who hold the game are the actual ones that allow these types of problems to occur. They are the actual problem because they don't deal with the fucking idiots that are in the games to remove them like they're supposed to. And obviously, you're not going to remove somebody that's giving you tons of money. It's like OJ did it. Everybody fucking knows it. But if you have enough money, you can get away with anything. That's basically the gist of this. No company in existence is going to remove somebody that's going to give them money. It's literally a license to do whatever you want. So here's a prime example, because coincidentally, my other video, my advice to the person, and the first video that he gave me was that I told him, just cut your losses and just stop fucking playing the game. But the interesting thing is, his original complaint about what was going on was literally what started me on the road to getting banned, which was this. And this, I've had dealings with these staff, so when I read this, I fucking totally understood exactly what was going on here as far as the stupidity level. So let me get into it. Okay, so apparently they got a forum. I'm laughing with... Sorry, I read these emails. I can't stop laughing. It'll become apparent. I'll try to control myself, but I can't stop laughing about this. All right. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not laughing about the person getting a suspension. I'm laughing at the fucking replies and what the person got suspended for. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So here we go. Deliberately disobeying a ZeniMax Online employee and flaming. That's like a fucking parent in a store telling a child, "Didn't you listen to me? Quit deliberately disobeying me." Like, who the fuck are they? Are they deliberately disobeying a ZeniMax Online employee and flaming? Alright, so hold on, let me read this. So apparently, he posted this video back. Now, I will be posting the links to these, so I'm going to explain them, but I don't want my channel hit with some fucking copyright, so I'm not going to play them, but I'll link them, but I'll briefly describe what these videos linked are, because they're YouTube videos. The first one is J. Jonah Jameson's laughing in Spider-Man. Can I get paid in advance? He starts laughing. Are you serious? So basically he's saying, are you serious? You're a dumbass for basically doing that. He sarcastically wrote this. So then he goes, thanks for giving me a really good laugh. I showed some other people this and they fell over laughing hysterically. Just a suggestion. If you people want to be taken seriously, get someone who knows how to read, preferably an adult, because this whole child throwing a temper tantrum reply because that feelings were hurt, yeah, just stop. Get somebody to read, preferably an adult. Also, disobeying an employee is hysterical. You sound like a disgruntled crossing guard that failed the police academy and wishes they could issue fines to people who step outside the crosswalk. Deliberately disobeying a employee. I'm sorry, that just cracks me up. Alright, by the way, bullying people out of the forum is so 1990s. Oh yeah, to relieve some stress you apparently have, here's a tip. Now this video was taken from, I guess apparently it's a Christian cooking show. Hold on, got a call. Hello. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm reading it. I'm gonna post it in the link I'm gonna post I'm gonna post these screenshots in the link below the email so you can read them afterwards. I'm not gonna do it on screen because it's too much, because I need the space for this. I can't fucking stop laughing at this though. This is freaking hilarious. But yeah, I will post all of these links in these videos in the description below the video. And that way later on you can just actually read them. Because the person has it right here. He says it right here. You have my full permission to use the contents of this email in this video. So I have it's written right on screen. So let me finish talking about this, and I'll link it in I'll put it in the description once the video's up. All right, later. Bye. Okay, so anyway, that was a friend of mine who drives truck. Anyway, so what happened here is this video that he linked in the YouTube. He linked this YouTube video. It's a Christian cook or something like that. He's like, The name of the video is "Give Your Meat a Good Old Rub." It's just so funny because he's like rubbing spicy stuff on this meat. He's like, "Give your meat a good old rub." So in other words, he's telling him to fucking snap one. He's telling him to fucking jerk off if you're fucking stressed out. It's so fucking ridiculous. Thanks again for the laugh, but serious though, grow up. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the actual, he sent me the infringement, so I just wanted to get that out of the way first. So they're telling him he's got a form infraction while he's sitting there fucking laughing at him and telling him, yeah, he's telling them, fucking dude, you got issues if this is your fucking problem, disobeying a fucking employee like you're somebody's authority figure. Fuck off. He's basically told him that, and then he's fucking telling him to fucking snap one off. See, me, I just argue with them. This is how you should respond to something like this. So anyway, let me bring up the second screenshot. Okay, so again, for those, my friend said he can't see anything on the screen, so what I'll do is I will actually link these to an actual hosting site, so it'll be blown up in full so you can see it. So, but that's why I'm reading it off to you. All right, so anyway, now this is a continuation, and as I said, I put the reference number on the image for the incident, so you can match it up. It's here's the actual contents of the email. All right, it says, obviously, it goes into the normal bullshit about this account has been reported for a code of conduct violation, blah, 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 blah. So that's the actual code of conduct. Like, they literally pasted it on here. And, all right, so the point here is that they will make up the dumbest fucking things to nail you for. That's why I always tell people, you can't do anything on a forum. If you go to the fucking forum and you go against the grain, there are people who are friends with people who are friends with these moderators, and they will fucking get rid of you. You don't have people like, oh, I got banned from the forum. They don't have to have a reason. This is just them. They don't want any idiot message them back or, you banned me for no reason. They don't need a reason. Not having a reason is a reason. So that's the point. But my point is that this is the mentality of the jackwads that you're fucking dealing with on these fucking forums. All right, so anyway, they go into deliberately disobeying a ZeniMax online employee. So here's the contents of what they describe it as, because this is what they wrote up about what these things are. This isn't an actual definition. This is their definition that they're trying to say, when you're on our site, this applies, this is how it is, which is fine. They don't even need this shit. They can just say, hey, we're allowing you to break the rules. We're allowing you not to break the rules. You're banned. It's fucking retarded. So here we go. Deliberately disobeying a ZeniMax online employee is contrived of deliberately disobeying a request or action by a member of the ZeniMax Online Studios /ESO team. ESO is Elder Scrolls Online. Is not permitted at any time. As an example, if we close a thread you created and leave an explanation stating why it was closed, you may not recreate the thread. Okay, so why that is fucking retarded is because I actually had a ZeniMax employee and a few other people on staff on a few other forums when I was on them literally try to say, when somebody said, oh, you're threatening, I says, it's not a threatening. I even said it's not a threat. They actually used the line, just because you say it's not a threat doesn't not make it one. And then I got thrown off of the forum for them saying, just because that's what you said, that's just what you defined it as, doesn't make it as such. And they didn't like that. So this is, again, one of these things where you're not going to win no matter what you do, because they will always talk over you. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Apparently, the thread, this is why I tell people I don't go on forums. And this is how you can tell if a forum is run properly. They will close a forum. They will close a topic on a forum knowing the person hasn't had an answer, and it'll cause the person to create another topic of the same nature to get an answer, and then they will use that as ammunition to bar the person from the forum, saying you're making duplicated threads, totally disregarding, and it doesn't matter why they made a duplicate thread. It's the fact that they made one. It doesn't matter that the staff locked it and starting problems. No, that doesn't have anything to do with it at all. So, okay, so let me get into I guess apparently he now got a forum suspension. So this is my fucking favorite. Okay. So now we have another incident where it says online forum account suspension. Or I should say, sorry, Elder Scrolls Online forum account suspension. If Elder Scrolls is online and so is a forum, you don't need to use the word online. Just say forum suspension. All right, so anyway, they wrote, they say he got suspended. Where do you hear what he got suspended for? Or she got suspended for? They're like, oh, this is great material for someone that I know on YouTube, hence me. Can't wait to turn this and all the other information over to them. It's not a conspiracy theory when it's true. That'll make sense in a minute. By the way, calling the suspension promoting conspiracy theories, they suspended him for, I'll read it in a minute. So, is extremely hilarious because you did exactly what the video portrays. I posted an opinion and then got temp banned for doing it. All right, so let me go in here. Now, again, the reason why I use this at the top is because of the incident of 201-221-001288. Not that the number is important, but you can match the number up with the next screenshot to know it's the actual contents of the email. So there it is. Now, I cut out trolling or baiting because that's just fucking shit. That's the same stuff. Okay, so it says, greetings. Fucking greetings. Hey, by the way, you've been banned. Greetings. It's like, okay, dude. So anyway, this account has violated the code of conduct in the ESO forums regarding trolling and misinformation. This is what I find fucking hilarious. Conspiracy theories and misinformation. And they've defined that as, we do not tolerate the deliberate and malicious spreading of false info or conspiracy theories about ZeniMax Online Studios, its game or games, or its employees. Now, it's important to note, they've defined this ban, or this temp ban, as a conspiracy theory. Now, a conspiracy theory, by definition, is something that's just somebody, oh, they're out to get me. It's not, and you call them a tinfoil hat wearing person. Oh, it's not true. Okay, so let me get into that. So, it's the deliberate and spreading of misinformation. Now, misinformation is shit that's not true. Okay, or something that's not happening. Okay, so this does not include honest mistakes. In other words, ignorance of the law doesn't make you get around not knowing the law. You know what I mean? So you're still in trouble for it. So this does not include honest mistakes. So in other words, you're going to be spreading misinformation unless they decide it isn't. That's really what this says. So let me continue reading. The spreading of misinformation does not include honest mistakes. Rather, this rule pertains to those who go out of their way to spread harmful or malicious rumors about ZeniMax Online Studios and its employees or the Elder Scrolls Online. Okay, now, they've posted an actual YouTube video link on the forum. This was on the forum. This is to show you how fucking, this is to show you the stupidity level of who you are dealing with in the gaming industry as a whole. Okay, somebody wrote up, or sorry, he or she. I keep saying someone. I don't know if it's he or she. So someone, them, Tanner. Okay, so apparently the run-ins that I had showed you that Tanner had was people would just talk in circles. They don't answer you. They're fucking convoluted, and then they act like they did nothing wrong while causing a problem, and then they contact the moderator. So they start shit and it goes in a circle. So, because Tanner wasn't getting help, he decided to post this shit for new people. Because every fucking topic, apparently, every topic that they did has been, that posted, I need help with this, has been filled with troll replies, totally ignoring the topic, and then it gets locked. So, Tanner hasn't gotten any actual help. So that's common on a forum. But here is the interesting part about this. Keeping in mind, they temp banned his account or her account for 72 hours because they said purposely spreading misinformation, sorry, and deliberately stating something that's not true and as a rumor. Here is the video that S. Tanner posted on the forum for people being new. I'll link this I'll link this in the description below the video as well. But there is a video on YouTube that somebody took and explained, and it's in one of those automated voices. I'll reiterate what it says in the video. Hello, today I will show you how to get banned from the Steam forums. This tutorial requires basic knowledge of a computer. Step 1, post your opinion. Step 2, thanks for watching, and then they're banned. So if you post your opinion on the forum, you get banned. He got banned for posting this video. Yet, it's a conspiracy theory. He posted his opinion about what's been going on in the forum because it's a fact. You can go look at it. And then they banned him for spreading false information by banning him for posting a video about his opinion that says you're going to get banned if you post your opinion. So he gets banned for spreading misinformation by posting a video that says if you post your opinion, you're going to get banned from the forum. And then they went ahead and did it and said it was misinformation and false rumors. If you ban him from the forum for posting a video like that, then it's not a rumor. It's a fact. You fucking banned him for doing it. I can't stop laughing at the fucking stupidity of this. It's like this is the stupidity level you're dealing with. If you can't ban somebody from a forum for doing what the video says and then says that what they posted was false. You fucking did what they posted. I'm sorry, but that's fucking stupid. Alright, so that's the type of people you're dealing with in the gaming industry as a whole. Because it all reverts back to the makers of the game. And that brings me to the next part of this video, where I'm now going to get into a little bit more intricate things that are going to be a little bit hard to follow, so I may need to give background information where it's needed. So I'm going to be talking about Elder Scrolls 6. I'm going to be talking about Steam. I'm going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077. I'm going to be talking about EA and all these companies combined because they all have a common theme together as one giant bubble. They're all inside this bubble. And this doesn't just apply to the companies. It applies to the consumers as well because I actually made a video about Elder Scrolls 6 in a challenge, which you can find on on the channel here. So let me start by reading off what I have here on the screen, which you can see. In gaming, everyone is to blame because stupidity is at an unprecedented level. And that stupidity is on everybody. If you bought a game under these conditions that I'll be going over, then you are to blame. If you are a developer that goes to work for a corporation, knowing how the corporation is, then you are stupid. You are to blame. You are involved in this. Corporations who constantly keep doing this are to blame. So I titled this video, "This is musical chairs in real life," because that's what this is. Now, what I'm going to be doing with this in particular is I will start off by explaining to people this isn't anything new. This dates back to the start of Elder Scrolls. And let me explain. And like I said, the main reason I'm using ZeniMax is because this is the baseline of where everybody's head is at in gaming. So I'll be using EA, BioWare, Valve, Uplay, Rockstar, everybody. Okay, so here we have, and again, why I call this musical chairs is because it just keeps going in a circle, and everybody's passing the buck off to everybody else, and everybody's quick to blame everybody else, while everybody else is to blame. So, and if you look at it, I have something set in this message on purpose, because I usually tell people whenever I make a video, everything in it usually has a reason. If you take a look at, I have stupidity capitalized. There's no reason for that letter to be capitalized in the beginning of this, but I did that because I wanted to subtly put something in there that the stupidity of everybody is always overlooked because it's overshadowed by everything else. So that's the concept on why I have a capital letter in there that probably none of you even paid attention to, because you're so focused on what I'm talking about, which is the entire point to this video. So the stupidity level of everybody is ignored by the stupidity of level of everybody, because it's at such an unprecedented level, nobody wants to fucking take responsibility for it while blaming everybody else. So let me start by bringing you back to Elder Scrolls and show you the common ongoing theme with that, because that concept is the same concept that everybody is complaining about right now with every gaming company. The concept, because what I find interesting is that when I say a concept, people that don't like the concepts I do or realize what I said will say, that concept's dumb, or, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That's because they're not intelligent enough to understand exactly what I'm talking about, because I said concept. And so when I say concept, that means the outcome of what people are doing in this regard is the same, not how they achieve the outcome. And people can't get by that. They only want to look at the outcome. All right, so, they only want to look at how the outcome was obtained. In that case, the context is the outcome. So, okay, so let me back up. In Elder Scrolls, okay, by the way, I also have the E in everybody capitalized, and you'll probably show me looking at stupidity that you overlooked that too. That's again, I'm doing this to prove a point. Okay, so in Elder Scrolls, any game that has mods on it, or can be modded, people will literally overload their game with mods. And then, when the game breaks, they blame the game company. Now, by no means am I letting the game developer off the hook either, because they are just as bad when it comes to pushing shit out. But I'll get into that afterwards. Let me focus on the fucking retards that are overloading their games. Now, I cannot count the number of times, and I've made videos about this, not consistently, I've made several videos about this. Okay, again, I started with Elder Scrolls, and any game ZeniMax involved in or Bethesda's involved in. So, starts off with the Elder Scrolls, and I'll say Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Then it gets into Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Then it gets into Fallout 3. Then Fallout New Vegas. Fallout 76. Then you get Elder Scrolls 5. Now, the one thing that these people, and I say these people are the fucking retarded gamers who overload their game with mods. If you backtrack it, and this goes over 10 years, every single time, and this is, again, every single time one of these releases come out, every time, there hasn't been a single time that this has not happened. Every single time the game comes out, the idiots load their game up with mods or start talking about how to mod the game before they even fucking played it, or they played it, or I gotta have this and that and the other thing. The mods are created by people who don't know how to make the mods, who say, oh, there's no such way to make a mod. Yes, there is, because if you go looking back at the mods that I made, they still apply to the game today, despite how many updates they've had, and they don't break the game. They just don't. So clearly, my track record alone speaks for this. And on top of that, I've actually created systems for mods that, until I created them, were never used. Now a lot of stuff that I've created for baselines are used, which I'm not bragging, but it's really hard to come up with a concept. But the concepts I came up with are now being used in other mods. And again, that's simply proven because before, if you go back and look at the date I uploaded this thing, which is still up there, you can see before this upload, the stuff that people are currently doing with them didn't exist. So, backing up, they overload the game with mods, and then something happens to the game, and because a new game comes out, and the game will crash at certain points for certain people, that's not to say the game is perfect, but what happens is, now at this point, because people are overloading their games with mods, or they're using console commands, which then also, you'd have to watch my video on how to actually use the Skyrim creation kit. I put a video up on that. It's on my channel. It's a class that I used, that I basically made. It's a 2-part class that taught people how to use it. I go into the first 25 minutes of that video is me explaining how the game works and what happens if you make a mod outside the confines of this, and what happens if you try to follow something on YouTube. And, okay, fine. For 2.5 years, I had people arguing with me about, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. Then I find the information that I had basically been talking about was taken and put on this other forum, and somebody else posted it. Now all of a sudden the information's correct. And when I went back, it says, oh, now all of a sudden the information's correct. The information that you guys have been arguing with me for 2 fucking years on, that I've been saying, I've been wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. Now it's posted there, and now it's right. Oh, it's no big deal, and then they just swept it under a rug. So again, this is the type of people you're dealing with. It's not just the staff and the fucking forums and the games. It's who you're fucking dealing with, because this mentality is fucking retarded. So what happens is they overload their games, the game breaks, and then because the game is already broken with another element, now you're using that, they're using that. Oh, it broke! And when you tell these pricks, you're using mods, of course your game's going to break, and you're using mods from people who don't know how to create them, so it's going to cause a conflict. Oh, it's not the mods, I've used these for over years. I've used these for a while and nothing's happened, blah, blah, blah. And even after you tell them, just because nothing's happened, that doesn't mean the problem isn't there, because how mods work, you can have a mod that would only show up with a problem if you went this pathway in the game instead of this way. That doesn't mean that the problem isn't there. That just means you didn't run into it. And it's like these people are so fucking dumb that they don't even get that concept, or they don't want to hear about it. Now, why I bring up this problem is because for the past 10 years, every single game that has mods in it, in every single release, the pattern for these pricks has been exactly the same. The game comes out, they load the game with mods, it breaks. You tell them the mods are the problem, no, you get drowned out. The next game that comes out, the game starts, they overload the game with mods, the game breaks, it's the game developer's fault. You tell them, well, it's the mods, look at what you're doing. Every topic, not every topic, there's maybe 3 topics out of 800 on a forum. And I'm not using that as an exaggerated number. That is literally the baseline for this. Maybe 3 topics out of the 800 that are on the forum about the games being broken actually have a broken game. The rest of them, the first thing that they do in the game, oh, my game's broken, here's a list of mods I used. And then they will go into denial that the mods broke the game just because the game itself has some other problem with it that isn't even related to their mods. Their mods fucked up because they broke the game by using mods for people who don't know how to make them and don't understand the concept. But when you tell them how to make them, oh, that doesn't work that way, and then it just goes in a circle. So they've done it with every single Elder Scrolls game and every single Bethesda game that has been released in the past fucking 10 years. And you'd figure after the second or third time that they keep doing the same thing over again, that the pattern alone can't be ignored. If you go back and look at every single one of these games I'm telling you, you will find exactly what I'm talking about in every one of these cases. How the fuck can this problem consistently keep going through and people continue doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? It's proven in the pattern alone. The game gets released, you overload the game with mods, they blame the developer. Oh, the mods are causing the problem. No, it's not. The next game, it's the same thing. The next game, it's the same thing. When are people going to fucking learn? If you mod your game, you're going to break it. Period. That's always, oh, no, that's not true. If it's not true, then how come it's happened every single release with every single game? It's fucking retarded. That is the stupidity level of gamers. And like I said, if you ever want to see just how stupid people are in general on the internet, go read gaming forums. This is what you run into. They literally are in denial about an actual repeated pattern that if you go there and look, they deny exists. But yet they continue doing the same thing over and over again. That leads me to Fallout 76. Now, when that game was fucking busted. However, when you deal with these fucking idiots, you're never going to get any common sense because everybody's still going to buy these games. Now, despite all the fucking problems that have been, with ZeniMax in general and Bethesda, they're the only people who make this game. So I've also said it in a previous video. We can sit and bitch about things all we want about this company, but when they put this game out, people are going to buy it. Because you can't get this game from anywhere else. There's nobody else that makes it. It's their property. So they can shit in a disc and mail you fucking gonorrhea, and you would still buy their game. So that's not the issue. That's just, you're going to go where you're going to get it. So you're going to go to who has it. And so when you're dealing with these pricks that keep doing this and then blaming the game developer doesn't give a shit, and so they put out broken games because they're like, hey, people are going to buy this shit. They keep buying it. Even though we put out busted games and they keep doing the same shit over and over again, we're just going to keep putting it out. So they're at fucking blame to do that as well, knowing because the assholes are going to buy it, and it just goes in a circle. So both of them, the game company should come out and tell you, you're a dumb fuck for buying this. You want to buy it? Shut the fuck up. We don't want to hear about it. You're an asshole. Dumb. Shut the fuck up. If you're gonna overload your game with mods, good. Your fucking game needs to get broken. Stop fucking overloading your game with mods and then trying to blame us. So this just will go in a circle. Now, why I brought up Fallout 76 is because when that game was put out, it was fucking broken. But here's my point with this, and this goes back to what I had said about the challenge I had listed to people when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. Okay. At this point, every single person who plays a ZeniMax game or a Bethesda game knows the game is broken beyond shit. They know it is. Okay? So they continue buying it and pre-ordering shit despite the same fucking problems going over again. It's like ramming your fucking head into a wall. Despite the repeated pattern, and nobody fucking learns. And yet they continue buying it, and it's never the consumer's fault for continuing to buy it. If you keep fucking putting your cock in a fire and getting burnt, you're going to blame the gasoline company because you keep sticking your cock in a fire that the gasoline company started? No, you're a fucking moron. The gas company's going to go, the fuck out of here. But no, that's not how it is in the gaming realm. For some fucked up reason, game developers and gamers literally think they are exempt from everything that every other company in the world has to follow. And technically they are, because there is no oversight in the gaming realm. If any other company in existence did what half of these game companies are doing, even half of the problems that they're doing, they'd be put out of fucking business instantly. And the assholes that are in the gaming community who are defending game developers by ignoring this stuff and saying, oh, that doesn't matter, are the first ones in line bitching about what the other companies do. It's fucking ridiculous, the amount of shit that the game developers get away with, and the consumers blame the game developers for fucking their own problems. It's ridiculous. So, ZeniMax already specifically stated, unless something changes, they've stated that they are making Elder Scrolls 6 with the same game engine that Fallout 76 was made with. Okay? Now, knowing that, I put a challenge out to people. And this is what I pretty much said. You go back and watch the video if you want. But I basically said, every single one of you who bitched, and it was literally Congress people got involved with how bad this fucking game was. That's how much of a world impact this fucking problem with this game had. Fallout 76 had. for as many people bitching about Fallout 76 and all the fucking problems and complaining about the game engine that they ran and they built it with, ZeniMax said that they're going to build Elder Scrolls 6 with this. These fucking morons are going to go out and buy Elder Scrolls 6. They're going to do it. And despite that, they're going to start a shitstorm with the game company because they decided to buy a game they literally knew was built with a game engine that they just bitched about, got the attention worldwide, and the company basically got sued and put a shit game out, and the gamers will go out and buy this because they're the only people that do it. So, and then it'll be the game developer's fault. They will load their game with mods, and they will break the game, and this will just continue in a cycle. That is the fucking stupidity level of people you are dealing with in gaming. It's like talking to people politically. It's fucking utter ridiculous. Now that brings me to the fucking morons that made Mass Effect. That game series was fucking horrible. And I've made several videos about that, including one I recently made because I got asked to remake it. Now, my channel points out really stupid inconsistencies with games. Okay? And somehow, again, because you can't say anything bad about it. If you do, it's fucking it's the end of the fucking world for some reason, despite everything I just explained. So, a few key factors to show you how dumb this game company is. To get you to understand something on the channel that I do here. Yes, I talk rude. Yes, I talk stern. There are times where I overswear. I get, looking at the screen, mad. That is because the way I portray my videos is exactly how these people need to be talked to. So basically, I'm kind of setting up a skit where you can visualize what the hell is going on. And so people don't like when I do that because I am tarnishing their game. And this what I'm getting into here is exactly what happened with CD Projekt Red in Cyberpunk 2077. The attitudes with people toward that is exactly what people do to me on my stuff, despite me being right. So what happens here is, any games, it's all games. You can watch it back afterwards. I'm not going to go back into it again. But because I'm talking about everything in here. EA, ZeniMax Online Studios, Bethesda, EA, BioWare, Mass Effect series, Cyberpunk 2077, just because everything because everything is combined into one bubble. Everybody's doing the same thing over and over and over again, while nobody's taking the blame and pointing the blame at everywhere else. So back to what I was saying. There's no person on the face of this planet that can copy what I do on my channel. They can't do it. In order for you to copy what's on my channel, you have to think like me. No gamer in existence thinks like me. If you go back and look at all my videos and you actually believe that I have the problems I have with them just because I'm pointing out inconsistencies, then you're fucked in the head, because I have specifically told people consistently my videos portray the way I talk to people as I'm talking to the screen, because that's how they have to be talked to, and that's what makes my videos entertaining. It's like, look at this guy, he's fucking crazy. But putting that aside, if you take apart every video I've ever done and you look at anything I've ever pointed out, you will see that what I'm talking about is 100% correct. It doesn't matter whether you fucking like me or not, and I don't give a shit. It's not going to change the facts. So I've put out, I have stated in games, you're an asshole. Okay, I'm an asshole. Guess what? The game's still fucking going to be broken, and I'm still going to be an asshole, so nothing's changed. So the thing here is, like, if you take a look at all the stuff that I did, and you take a look at if you take apart the videos I make, you'll see that every single thing I say in them is right. Now, this is what gets me. It's despite I will have the game open on the screen, reading the screen, and people still will say, how do you not know how to do that? Not totally disregarding everything I said to that point. They're only, look, it's like people, People take apart my videos the way they read on the internet. They skim through, pick out keywords, rearrange what they say, and then totally change the context of what's being said because they don't know how to fucking read. They literally, it's like talking to a fucking goldfish. They have the attention span of 5 seconds and nobody can read anything articulately. That's why a lot of the times I say at the beginning of my video, if you skim through my video or you skip ahead or you don't pay attention to what I'm talking about at the beginning of this and you want to skim ahead, then I am going to delete your comments because you're starting to talk about stuff that you have no idea what you're fucking talking about on. Sure enough, out it comes, you know? So it's like one of the things I tell people, and this is kind of, you know, this is the stupidity level of how things work, because this is the gaming community in general. And it's, again, it's not just gamers, it's not just people on forums, it's the fucking idiots that are you know, working for these companies. And so the thing that I've told people is, I've literally, when I was on a forum, I have literally left messages stating, I am not going to, that the very first thing in the reply the topic I wrote, I am not coming in here to read replies. If you post anything, I am not going to read it because I am not even coming back into this topic. I had friends of mine notify me saying, everybody's replying to you on that topic. Apparently they were replying to me when I said the very first thing in there, and I bolded it so there's no way you could miss it. It's the very first fucking thing. It's like you literally had to scroll down to read it because the block lettering was so big. I am not reading any replies anybody puts in here because there's nothing to reply to. This is it. I'm done. And I'm not even coming back into this topic to read anything. That's it. And they continued posting replies to me as if I'm reading them. So this is the stupidity level. This is the stupidity level of people in gaming. And these are the same people who mod the shit out of their games, then blame the game company because they are using broken mods that they swear up and down aren't broken, and then say, well, you know, the game's broken because of this. Here's a list of mods I used, and they've done that with an entire track record of games for the past 10 years. Every game they've done it with. So that's when I pointed out Fallout 76, because that ZeniMax, despite everything I just explained, despite what happened globally with corporate lawyers getting involved and congressmen and everything else, and people bitching about the game engine in Fallout 76, they're going to go out and buy the same fucking people that just bitched. This game company sucks. They put out this shit game. Nobody wants this. You got to stop putting out shit games. They say they put out shit games every game they put out, but yet they continue buying it, saying they put out shit games. Now, what I'm getting at for, as far as EA and BioWare, brings me to the Mass Effect series, which is what I said. These game developers are so fucking retarded, and the people that play these games are so fucking stupid to the point where the game company can't do anything wrong because even legitimate criticism or legitimate flaws or inconsistencies in the game's design are pointed out, you will be fucking buried by a mass crowd of defenders. So when it comes to the Mass Effect series, I've always said that series is fucking horrible. Now, people can sit and argue with me all you want, but you have to take apart why I said that. A game is only as good as its instructions. Gamers have somehow fucking turned games into a college thesis paper or like physics research paper because it's like, oh, we can go and look this up, which is a completely irrelevant point because it's a paid-for product. It's like people don't understand what a paid-for product is. So my thing here is that if a game developer, and this is again what I said earlier, the game developers are never held to the same standard. These gamers that don't hold these game developers to standards will hold every other company in existence to standards they basically say the game developers get away with. The only reason games are in the condition they are in is because there is no oversight enforcing laws onto these game companies for the laws that they're breaking. And this is like speeding. These people's mentality will literally be, if I didn't get pulled over for speeding, even though a cop saw me, I didn't break the law. Well, then why didn't the cop pull me over? That's the argument that they use. The law doesn't give a rat's ass if you fucking sped or the cop didn't pull you over. You still broke the law because speeding is illegal, period. So that mentality leaks into these gamers where they don't apply the same concepts and laws to every other company as they do. They don't. They literally are making excuses for game developers to get away with what no other company can ever get away with. Game developers are somehow exempt. Game players and gamers defend this horse shit, and then the gamers blame the fucking idiotic developers for putting out broken shit while they're continuing to buy it, and then the developers keep putting out stupid shit because the people that are making the games are just as at fucking fault than the publishers. People are like, how can you say that about the game designers? They're victims. No, they chose to go to work for these companies knowing what is going on. That's the key factor here. If you are in the gaming realm and you are a game designer, it is impossible for you not to know what companies like EA do, what BioWare has done, what freaking Activision's done, what Blizzard's doing, what CD Projekt Red does. If you are a game designer and you go to work for any of these companies, you get exactly what you deserve. You don't have a right to bitch about fucking anything because you are a stupid motherfucker that went to work for these companies. What people don't seem to understand is if you stop working for these companies, they cannot make any money. They don't have a game designer on their team. They can't make the fucking game. Stop working for these people. And everyone's like, when this shit comes out, the people are defending the game designers as for the they're not blaming the game designers. They're blaming the company instead of the fucking idiots that are going to work for the company who's making these assholes the money, who keeps doing this. The same pattern that gamers do with Elder Scrolls games that I explained is the same fucking pattern that these game designers do. They know what is going to happen if they go to work for these companies because it is public knowledge. It's always been that way, and it's been exposed. Anybody who exposed it earlier was shamed into fucking existence. Nope, you can't do anything wrong. It's like gamers defending game companies when a critic puts out something about their games. The fucking people defend the game designers for going to work for these people instead of realizing the game designers are fucking at fault just as bad for going to work for the assholes knowing what the fuck is going on. I'm not even in the gaming industry as far as a designer or a worker, and I know what's going on. I would never fucking go to work for any of these people. If I did, I'm a dumbass. It's that fucking simple. And so this is what people fucking don't like about my channel. I say it how it is. You cannot blame one side when you are doing just as fucking stupid things and then ignore the problem like it's not your fault. That is your fucking choice. You have a choice to go to work for these people. Do you honestly need some corporation now on your resume that fucking bad that you are willing to go through the bullshit that is being put through over and over again? No, you're not going to do that. I don't give a fuck who you are. What's really interesting is all these YouTubers and all of these game designers, and I've been saying it, fuck these companies and form your own company. Everybody can pool their money together so they can design their own fucking company and say, fuck these other assholes, stop going to work for them, quit, and then support each other for the time being until you get the fucking funding you need. Period. It's done. Now you have control over your market, you have control over what's going on, and you don't have to deal with this stupid horse shit. Like, seriously. It's like people saying, well, you can go off and do your own thing. Yeah, you can. Nobody's doing it, though. So, again, that avenue is just fucking retarded. Now, what's going on with why I brought up Mass Effect and why I brought up these fucking idiots about as far as the gamers as a whole? Here's what I find very interesting. And I made a video called Stop Portraying rule breakers as saviors. Okay, stop portraying rule breakers as saviors. And I focused on the fact that the gamers are hypocritical because they do two things. They want to say people should be held to a standard about violating rules when they cheat online, especially when it's a known streamer. because they broke the terms of service, so therefore they should do it. While at the same time, because a game is so fucking bad, the people that are cheating are getting banned and then complaining they get banned for cheating, and then people are actually defending the fucking cheaters for saying, well, they're helping the game company because the game is so bad, while they just got done saying if you cheat and break the rules, you should be fucking banned for this person over here. They're fucking hypocritical across the board with everything. And there's no fucking arguing them because it's always, it's okay for you, but not for me. Blah, blah. It's fucking retarded. So that brings me up to what's the next game I want to fucking bash? Okay, so now that brings me to CD Projekt Red and the actual tie together with this video. Okay. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit what game you fucking made. I don't give a flying fuck what credentials your company has. I don't give a shit if you're Game Maker of the Year and you've put out 3, crown hits. None of that shit is fucking valid. Once the game comes out and that point is passed, yeah, you should get glory for it for a little bit. Fine. Get recognized. Now they start dwelling on it. They use that to carry everything through. Bethesda did it with the Elder Scrolls series. They used a good series and they fucked it up because of Fallout 76. They just fucking destroyed it. BioWare did it, or I should say EA did it, because it's not really BioWare. It's basically EA in general. They fucked it everything. They had a couple of good games, and then they fucked it with Anthem. Then you have Valve's just fucked anyway. I don't even give a fuck. I'm not even going to say what they fucking did. That's stupid anyway. So, Ubisoft. That's another one. Okay? Ubisoft pumps out shit games. It's literally the same game over and over again. So when I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, a game came out basically right after, within like a month and a half after it, that was the same fucking game. It was literally an addition to what Black Flag was, but it was literally the same game. I'm not talking like it was similar. It was the same fucking game. I was literally, the first mission, I was chasing the same enemy through the same areas. I was doing the same thing, same storyline. There was a couple deviations from it, but they put out a completely brand new game. They put out a totally separate game than Black Flag, even though it was Black Flag. It was fucking ridiculous. So you stop playing that shit for a while. Then they come out with another, Assassin's Creed game. Okay, Origins. So when I was playing Origins, it was decent, okay, because it was something different than Black Flag. It's the same game. Different theme, different stuff, blah blah blah. But it's basically the same way. It's an open world sandbox game. Yeah, fight shit, kill shit, whatever. So I played it, because it had been a while since I played an actual game like for that long that I actually played it twice in a row, things like that. Assassin's Creed Black Flag and then Assassin's Creed Origin. The games in between those games were fucking retarded because they were just pointless. There was no reason for it. It was like they would take one game, move it to a different area, and change the buildings around, and then it's a new game. It's like these fucking morons that play Madden and Call of Duty. Every year, Madden changes a player, adds a player, or takes away a player, rearranges a few stats, and then they call it a brand new game, and everybody's all, oh, it's a brand new game. It's like, dude, they just had this last year. No, there's a couple new moves in this. It's like, whatever, dude. Same thing with Call of Duty and Battlefield games. They're the same game. They're just moved to a different area. Oh, it's out. You see this new game. It's like, look at the mechanics in this. It's like, dude, you fucking pick up a gun, you shoot somebody with it. It's nothing new. There's nothing new in it. So the thing with this is that you have, when I was playing Assassin's Creed Origins, I liked it. Okay, fine, cool. I played it a lot. I got my money's worth out of it. Now, I got that game on sale, so I got it for a deal. I got a $100 version for like $66. To me, that was worth it. Great. And the DLC that they had for it were actual pieces of DLC. It wasn't like, there would come some bullshit that they put in there. It was like it was like the DLC, having the season pass on that made up for the DLC that was posted. So I got my money's worth out of that. So, coincidentally, the season pass was in the price that I paid for the game itself, so it came with it. So anyway, fast forward to now Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out. Now, I keep tabs on games, but I don't keep tabs on the same way everybody else does, because all you need to do is see one video that somebody puts up about a game, and then any place that game is posted, it's the same shit. Somebody's just making a different joke. It's the same shit. Everywhere you go, same shit. So every so often you'll find a video that gives something that's very interesting on it. So I keep tabs on stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, what's new? There's new gameplay footage. It's the same gameplay footage 50 other fucking channels already showed. It's not new. So I look at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then I pick through, and I just, in one ear and out the other. So there's very few things that I follow in games, but when I follow the stuff that matters. I don't give a fuck what the hype is. I care about what's in the game because I'm not paying for a video game to be a fashion show. It's not the fucking Sims. This cosmetic bullshit needs to fucking end. It's out of control. There's a problem fucking people run into with other games. It's fucking stupid. But the point here is that when Odyssey came out, they added a few things here and there, and they added some kick that this Greek thing did. So they basically sold this pretty much. If you look at all the videos, the kick is used in every one of these videos. So this is the subtle things that I look at. They're using a kick to sell the game because, it looks cool. Yeah, granted, you get some history and stuff, but if you look at all the videos, the kick is used in all of them. And so they're basically selling the game on that concept. That's what it comes down to. And so, who doesn't like to kick somebody? So anyway, when I got Odyssey, I got it at a standard price or whatever, and I started playing it, and I got maybe, I think it was maybe 6, 7 missions or quests in. I'm like, I can't fucking play this because I literally was playing Origins. Almost nothing had changed, and I think if I had played Odyssey first instead of Origin, I would have liked it, but Origin killed Odyssey for me because I literally pretty much I played Odyssey out of my system. So when Valhalla came out, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's fucking Odyssey. That's literally what it is. And then I come to find out it's worse than fucking Odyssey because it's the same concepts, it's just spread out more. The map got bigger, but the content inside the map didn't. And it's literally spaced out more because the map is larger, but you literally haven't changed anything. Valhalla is actually Odyssey, just set in a different time frame. They took the game, they changed a few things, and they moved it. That's all they did. Nothing, and they spread it out. Nothing has fucking changed. It's the same game. So I was fortunate enough not to buy that. The story isn't what makes the game. Doesn't matter. The story, if you read the stories to most games, they're the same story, even if it's made by a different company. I can literally lay out the baseline for you of every game. It's like horror movies. When you see a kidnapping movie, they pretty much have all the same premise. All reality TV shows, same premise. Same characters, same design. It's a different set. It's a different style of writing, but it's the same show. There isn't anything unique about anything anymore at all. So it's not really a new story. It's a changed story. So that brings me to the problem I have with game companies in general. Now, people get on me about this constantly. And this is, again, what I was bringing up is about the people who like games will defend to no end, even when you have shit open on the screen and things like that. You are the bad guy. and everything else. So, in that regard, keeping this in mind, I'm going to come back to what I'm about to say now, and it'll make sense in a minute. But what I said was, a comparison is people attacking me because I'm pointing out some of the shit I'm going to be telling you about in a few minutes in games is the equivalency of what the fuck happened when critique writers tried to freaking point out flaws with Cyberpunk 2077. The crowd attacked them. The defenders of the game attacked them and literally caused people to have seizures by specifically throwing shit at these. Apparently, somebody fucking had a good review of it. Said they got one of the writers said that she got a seizure from the game because in the game there was lights flashing, and that because she fucking said she had a seizure, the reply for the people defending the game was, "Let's give her seizures," and they were literally tweeting her shit that would make her cause to have a seizure. It was fucking ridiculous. So in that regard, people attack me in the same way they attack everybody else. It's just done in a different fashion. So this is the same game, just moved to a different area, same concept. So when the thing with me is, I don't give a fuck what you think. Oh, great, I'm an asshole? Great. It's not going to change the facts that I put out. Oh, you're just dumb because your opinion, that I don't give a shit about what you think. And this is a problem I fucking have with shit in general. When a game developer puts out a game, they are required to put out instructions with the game. Now, this is where gamers and I draw a complete difference of opinion. Gamers are so used to looking shit up on YouTube, looking stuff up, that they fucking are clueless about what a paid product means. When you are paying for a product, it doesn't matter whether some jackass thinks you can look something up. Fuck them. I've told people, fuck off. What makes you say they're required? Because I paid for the game. Do you not understand what paid means? And that's why I specifically make a distinction. If the game was free, I wouldn't say anything. I don't say anything. But when a game is paid for, and a game developer is so fucking lazy that they cannot even put a message on a screen that makes a player aware of something in the game, that is a fucking problem. Gamers take that concept, what I just said, and say, you're dumb because you can't figure it out, which has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's like they have no fucking idea what paid product means. Where are they required to explain it? Where does it say that? Because it's a paid product. That's where it says it. Oh, you're just dumb because you can't figure it out. And that's why I use the example of if I put a video up about a car and I point out that the car has a flat tire, there's nothing to discuss. It's not a discussion. It's me saying, hey, here's a car. The car has a flat tire. If I let comments underneath that video, I would be getting comments such as, you're poor because you can't afford to change tires. Don't you know there's a garage? You can look it up on YouTube how to change tires. My autistic nephew knows how to change tires. And all of the shit that has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the video. Nothing. And so the point is, when you point out a flaw of something, despite it being a fact, it doesn't matter. Defenders will come out of the woodwork to fuck with you to start stupid shit. That's why if you're doing these videos or you're doing types of videos that I do, tell people to fuck off. I don't give a shit what your opinion is. I don't give a rat's ass what you fucking think because it's not going to change the facts. You're dumb. Great, I'm dumb. Okay. Now explain to me what that has to do with the video. Oh, you can just figure this out. You can look it up. My problem isn't about looking something up. I don't give a fuck. If I want to look something up, I will. That's not what the concept is. I don't give a fuck if you knew about something. My question to these people is, you can sit and say how to do something all you want. I want to know where you pulled up that information. If you're going to be talking down to me or trying to talk down to me like I'm stupid and you figured something out because you're smart, good. Then you can tell me where you got the information from because I don't give a fuck if you're telling me what can be done. I want to know where in the game you got that information because it's not mentioned anywhere. And if you're going to say that the game is explained, I'm going to call you on it. Because that's what my point is. So what I do is I was in the middle of a stream, and we'll take the Division 2. Or we'll take the Division. And I point blank stated, the game doesn't tell you any of this shit. People were literally making shit up as I went along that I went back and showed that they were making shit up. They were literally arguing with me on stream. And I was like, all right, for this stream, I will go back and show you that what you said does not exist. That phrase that they were like, gamers make shit up and they add stuff in there because they read through things, they pick keywording out, rephrase what it says, and says, how do you not understand that? No, how did you change what that fucking says and then try to use that as a base argument? That's not how that works. I have literally been on stream with people who did this. It's in the Division streams. It's like 3 hours or something, so you're going to have to find it. But the point here is that I have been on stream, and I have called people like who watch all my videos are in there to harass me or harassing me. But I will literally launch the game that they fucking told me about. I will pull up where they said something is I will pull up where they claim something is and show what they said is not there. I literally show it on screen. So they don't like that about me because this isn't about whether or not somebody knows how to do something. This is about you paid for a fucking game and the game developers did not put it in the game, period. So this is, again, a product placement thing where it's a product that you're paying for because these fucking jackwads will be the first ones in line calling this shit up about another company that does it. The only company that they allow to get away with the shit that they would never let any other company do is game developers. For some fucked up reason, game developers get away with stupid shit that they should not be getting away with, that no other company in existence gets away with. And again, people are like, oh, you're trolling. Okay, fine, I'm trolling. That's not going to change anything. So this is why I tell people, I can pull up in the game and show you where it doesn't say that. Can you show me in the game where you got that information? I don't need to prove that. It's like they basically trying to backwards circular logic this. It's fucking stupid. This is why I said this is musical chairs in real life. Because everybody's trying to take the chair out from everybody else to support their own theory. Okay, but again, this is one of these things for the viewers that are viewing. The person that just posted the question in chat literally just posted a contradiction to everything I just said. They just ignored everything I just said. No, James, you don't have to think. And that's where I'm going to get, that's where I get into these. People don't seem to understand. No, James, you've been brainwashed into thinking that's how it is. Because let me explain this. Here is my go-to statement that if people are going to say whatever it is they say, fine, we can agree to disagree. But I am going to say something that if people are going to actually state, they're going to tell me how a game is played, then pull it up in the terms of service that literally state in the terms of service when you click I agree or when you buy a game, where it says in the terms of service part of the game is looking anything up or trying to think. I don't want to hear it's implied. Show me where you actually are purchasing what you're saying, because it's not relevant. So my thing here, and I came up with a really good analogy for people who like to say game developers don't need to explain anything. Let me throw this out there. For people who like to try to argue these points with me, I always like to come back with something that is you can't argue with. Like, I will stop you dead in your argument, because if people are going to apply certain concepts to me, fine, I can deal with that. But when I apply a concept back that you can't get around, don't argue with me. So here's something. Okay, James, let's use the comment that James says as an example, because James says you have to think. I understand what he's saying, but that is not a factual thing. That is an opinion coming from gamers. That's not an actual thing in games. That's what gamers have turned games into, but that is not an actual thing from the game developer. And because that's gone unchallenged for so long, it's become commonplace that gamers actually think that's part of the game. So when I point out that's not an actual thing, they actually argue with me saying it is. No, it's not a thing. That's a thing that you put in there because nobody's been challenged on it yet. But when you go out and look, it's not a fact. And you cannot pull up in the game where what you said is required. I can pull up and show you where it's not even listed as part of what you're paying for. But you can't turn around and say, well, just because it doesn't say it's... when I say it's not in there, therefore it's a fact. You can't say, well, it's not in there, so it is a fact. That argument doesn't work, because what's in the terms of service and what is there is what it says. There's no unlisted shit in the terms of service, because if it's unlisted, then it doesn't apply, because that's not what you're agreeing to. If you're going to say, oh, it's implied, no, it's not. It's not implied at all. That is people saying it's implied because they don't want to deal with what I'm saying. Okay. Again, this is another thing that everybody seems to do. Everyone does it. Doesn't matter what everyone does. Show me in the terms of service where what you're saying is what you're paying for, is how the game is played. So my point is, a game developer not telling you something does not mean they're requiring you to think. I don't know where people get that statement from. That is a statement that has no supported evidence to it whatsoever. None. So all of these statements that gamers say, it's like, well, you got to think. You're supposed to think. No, you're not. Where you are supposed to play a game. The game is supposed to require instructions. Those two are factual statements. If I put out, and it's a factual statement, I can say it's a factual statement because every single product in existence that you buy has instructions. Games don't. That's not how this works. You cannot say games are the only thing exempt from that, while every other product in existence has instructions. The reason why every other product in existence has instructions is because they are required to, because it's a paid product. You cannot argue that point and try to say it's different for game developers. They want you to think. That's not even a valid counterpoint. Okay, so let me throw this out there for people who actually still seem to not understand the concept, because this concept's confusing. It does actually confuse some people. Some people don't actually know, but there are people who just argue to argue. So that's why I came up with this concept as a whole. I'm going to give you a board game, okay? Something I made up. It's going to contain dice. It's going to contain some cards. It's going to contain a board, and it's going to contain a cup, and it's going to contain some cards. I'm going to give you that package, and without telling you a fucking thing about it, I'm going to tell you to play it. No instructions about what to do with any of the pieces. No instructions about what the dice are for or anything else. Only I have that knowledge. I'm going to give it to you and tell you to play it. Then, when you start asking me about, well, what do I do with the dice? I'm going to say, figure it out. It's common sense. Now, what happens here is, I've actually presented this to people. And they didn't have instructions backing themselves up. But what they tried actually arguing was, well, the dice means to roll it. Because they're trying to use the thing, well, dice are meant to be rolled. No, they're saying dice have meant to be rolled. But here's the problem with that statement. In the game that I just gave you, who the fuck are you to say the dice have to be rolled just because everybody else rolls dice? The game that I gave you, I never said the dice had to be rolled or didn't have to be rolled. So you making a determination in that game alone based off of dice in general is fucking retarded. You can't even use that as an argument. I understand what it is, but to literally say everybody else rolls dice and then say, well, it's common sense in this game is not a valid argument. That is you convoluting it because you're trying to tell somebody that they should know enough to do something with something that everybody else uses away in a game that you haven't been given the instructions to do, so you can't say what it is. Now, could they be rolled? Yes, but you actually argue everybody else rolls them. Well, that's what dice are designed for, is an invalid argument. You can't use it. Unless you are given the instructions that literally tell you to roll the dice, then you don't roll them because you don't know enough. You can guess, and that might be right, but you can't use "you might be right" as a means to argue the dice are supposed to be rolled just because they're dice and that's what everybody does with them. That is literally everybody's argument when they say, well, you have to think. That's not relevant. You were given a game that you paid for, and the instructions are to tell you what to do with certain things. It doesn't matter whether other people think. It doesn't matter. None of that shit's relevant. Those are opinions being forced into this because they don't like what I'm saying. Nowhere. I can tell you right now, nowhere ever does a game require you to think in a tutorial. That's not what the definition of a tutorial is. If people want to argue with me, you can look it up. I can pull it up on the screen and tell you what the definition of tutorial is. The problem here is that people, like the game I said I just made up and gave you, you start throwing shit around in there and then start trying to dictate things without actually having the information from the designer itself to tell you what those things are for, and then using the baseline of, well, everybody else does it, they're dice, what do you expect to do with them? And use that as an argument. That's not how this works. So, as a product person, I am required to give you the instructions on what to do with everything in that game. Otherwise, you can't play it. It's not even possible. You can make shit up, but that's not relevant. If you're making shit up, you're not actually playing the game. How do you know? Because I made the game and I'm telling you you're not playing it right, even though I'm not giving you the instructions. No. See, again, James, you just totally ignored everything I just said. If I give you a game without instructions and there's dice in it, you are not going to sit there and tell somebody you're supposed to roll them just because that's what everybody does with them if I never told you what to do with them. If me as a designer doesn't tell you what to do with those dice, you can't say what to do with them just because they're dice and everybody else uses that. That's what your argument is. If you were never told they have to be rolled, then you trying to say they're rolled because they're dice and you have to think about why anybody would do this with dice. None of that shit's relevant. The bottom line here is, until you're told to roll them, there's nothing you can say. There is nothing you can say that warrants a justification on anything you're saying, even if you are right. Because if you were rolling them and then it says, oh, no, they're actually just counters. You don't roll them. You turn them 1, 2, 3 because they count stuff. Then you'd feel stupid because you just tried using a principle that doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because, sure, you can argue that dice are supposed to be rolled. Sure, everybody else uses them like that. The problem is, in this game, you don't. Or you do. You have to have the instructions for the game you are in, regardless of what happens in every other game. Even if 50 games use dice that rolled, that's not fucking relevant, and it's not even a valid excuse or an argument to apply to a game you just got without instructions to say, well, every other game uses it. Haven't you ever played any other games? This is the stupidity level of that argument. It doesn't matter what 50 other games do. This is this game, and it has its own set of rules contained within itself. It doesn't matter what other games do. That is why that argument, when people try to use it, drives me fucking batty. It's like people are using the dumbest fucking arguments thinking it's a sane, logical thing when it's not. You can have 3 games that are in a series, and each one of those games can use dice completely fucking differently in every one of them. To say the first one did it, so the second one has to, even though the second one is contained within itself, is fucking a retarded argument. It may require the same, and it should, but it's a game in it of itself. You cannot use the first one to justify what the second one does. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't fucking matter. That's an invalid argument. That's why I argue with people who try to use these fucking fallacies. They're false logic. It doesn't work. It's logical, but it's an invalid argument because you cannot take an individual component from one thing and apply the concepts from another source outside of it in that individual component unless the individual component and the contents within have told you this. Yeah, but James, if I give you dice and I don't tell you what to do with them, and you start dictating they have to be rolled just because they're dice and everybody else do it, that is a flawed argument. That's a flawed argument. It's a logical one, and somebody can say, well, yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying. But if somebody tries to say that and I says, well, did the instructions tell you to roll them? And the only reply you can do is, well, every other game rolls them, it's not a valid argument. That's not even a valid counterpoint. You can't even use that. That somebody who says that is fucking dumb. I'm sorry, they just are. You cannot use what other things do and apply that in a place that is self-contained. Okay? If a game here is A, if this is A game here, and this is B, what happens here is irrelevant to here. You cannot use anything here in here. You can't do it. This is self-contained. This is self-contained. They're two separate instances. So if I give you dice here and don't tell you what to do with them, just because the dice are rolled here does not mean they're rolled here. To even use that as an argument is dumb. Yeah, but okay. But again, every game in itself is individual. It has its own set of rules. It has its own set of mechanics. Period. That is why you can't say, well, haven't you played another game before? So what if I have? What does that have to do with the instructions of this game? My point to this whole entire thing is that everything I just explained that gamers do with me and argue are flawed arguments. They are severely flawed, and it doesn't matter whether they have common sense or not. They're flawed fucking arguments for all the reasons I just gave. They're not even valid counterpoints. They're guesswork being made up as an opinion. And gamers saying look shit up is fucking retarded. It doesn't matter whether you can look something up. That's irrelevant. As a product maker, they are required to tell you how to do it, so looking it up isn't needed. Gamers have turned games into a literal physics research paper. And then they will argue, well, that's just how games work. No, that isn't how games work. That isn't even how tutorial works. It's funny to watch gamers say, did you watch the tutorial knowing the tutorial isn't complete, which means it's not a tutorial. You can't call a tutorial in a game a tutorial if it doesn't contain every step of information that spoon feeds you everything. So when a gamer's like, you want everything handed to you? Yes, in a tutorial, that's what a tutorial is. It is a spoon-fed, handheld, step-by-step, every step, basic, explained. The fact that gamers don't even get this concept is fucking mind-blowing. It's fucking mind-blowing. And so that brings me to the point of why is the fucking gaming realm in general a mess? And it's very, very, very simple. There's no oversight, and the corporations are pushing money that the gamers are buying. Gamers are then complaining what they buy, overload their systems with whatever, break their games, and blame the game developer who puts out a game that they patch, blame shit, and it runs in a fucking circle. This whole concept in general is exactly the same way. The exact same thing as a concept I read on the internet. It was a meme about the United States at war with other countries. This is literally what the picture said. We attack them because they attack us because we attack them because they attack us. It's a fucking circle. Well, if you attack us, we're going to attack you. Okay, then I'll just attack you. The bottom line comes, you have to back up and look at who actually attacked somebody in the first place. And this is why I use that gaming as a general name what law? Name what law? What? Where a game designer is required to include instructions in their game? That law? Because just so you know, a game is a product. Gamers seem to think a game is not a product. A game is a product. When you're in the United States, all products require two things by law. It's a law. You have to put them on there. One is instructions, and the other is warning labels. Oh, now also food-wise has ingredients. And I love the fucking idiots who try to say, well, food doesn't have an instruction. These people need to be fucking slapped upside the head because, oh, food's a product. Food is a product, but that's not the same thing as a fucking game. It's not the same argument. A game is contained. A product is contained. Food is not contained. It's not, you eat food. It's not, there is no instruction for food. It's just there. Games and things you put together, or cars you drive, all have a very specific set of instructions and warning labels because they are required by law to have them. It's under the consumer laws. The companies are required to provide those two things. If they don't, their companies will get sued into existence. That's why you read all these fucking stupid cases about the lady pouring hot coffee on herself and then suing McDonald's. That wasn't about the coffee. That was about there was not a label on the cup stating this is hot. Okay, the definition of instruction is being convoluted by people who don't know what the word means. I have a video on this channel that goes over exactly what it means when you say instructions. Go watch it and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Because when people say the word instruction, the video I made is 10 minutes long because I broke open the dictionary and I say, when you say there are instructions on something, this is what you are saying. And these were the actual definitions I pulled out of the books. So when you take the word, when you say instructions, or you say that something is explained, when you go watch that video, that is what you're saying. So if what you're saying does not coincide with that, what the definitions of those words are in videos, do not say what you're talking about is explained, because if it was, it would fit the description of what I have in the video. So my point to you is that if you're going to ask what I'm talking about, then this is what you're talking about. Now, the reason why I made that video is because gamers are so fucking stupid. They like to use the word semantics. That's another one that they like to use. Okay, James, the word instructions does not apply basic to it. There's no such thing as a basic instruction. That's not a thing. That is something gamers made up to apply. The word for that is just instructions. It's like if you go to China or Japan, you don't call it Chinese food. It's just food. Over here we call it Chinese food, but that's not a thing. The only reason we call it Chinese food is so we can distinguish it from other foods, but it's not a thing. There's no such thing as basic or advanced instructions. There just isn't. And if you go watch the video that I had made on what the word instruction means, you will see why the word basic doesn't apply there. Expert doesn't apply there. There is no such thing as a degree of instruction. There is no such thing as partially explained. It doesn't work. If it's explained, all of the steps are there. If it's not all the steps are there, then it's not explained. There is no basic, there's no degree of it. It's either they're instructions or they're not. Because instructions implies a very specific principle. So the point being is that gamers have convoluted everything to the point where they actually believe a game developer is exempt from what no other company in the world has to deal with. Because it is black and white, James. That's something you're going to have to accept when you're talking to me. Because your opinion about this doesn't matter, and neither does mine. If you're going to debate or have a conversation with me about these things, then I'm going to go strictly to stuff that's not opinion. I'm literally going to go with direct facts about what everything is. And as I said, if people are going to say basic instruction after I just got done telling you, go look up the video I made that shows you what instruction means. That word means something. And it doesn't mean what everybody's saying it means. Everybody has changed what that meaning is and then added words to that don't even exist to come up with a phrase that's not even a real phrase. Like I said, there's no such thing as basic instruction. It doesn't. The word basic doesn't apply to the word instruction at all. People formulate it that way, But if you go look up the video that I had said, that I had explained to you what the word, not you, but I explained what the word instruction means, you will see you will not find the word basic anywhere in there. But yet I've already broken down the definition of instruction. Okay, so the point being is that gamers get so arrogant with me, in the same way they get arrogant with a reviewer for saying something out of line that they can do no harm, and then it come to find out later on that the reviewer or me or anybody that these people are slamming have been correct all along, and then all of a sudden it's like these people fucking bury their head in the sand, or it's no big deal. They spend ages. When I say they, I'm talking about all the people who attack me, the reviewers, the game developers, and everybody else for these fucking stupid things that they're just arguing to argue because oh shit, you said something bad about our product. No. The bottom line is, when they will literally argue for days or weeks or months or whatever, and then when they find out they're wrong, it's just like, nobody cares. If they just spent that long arguing, and then all of a sudden when they found they were wrong, nobody cares. It's all of a sudden it's no big deal. If it's no big deal, then what the fuck were they arguing about for this long for? It's funny, it's because they only argue when they know somebody can't retaliate, so they'll just keep saying it. When I argue, I throw something up that they can't argue against with. It shuts them up. Even though they still try, I just keep reverting back to this one thing, and then instead of admit now, then it turns into, you just keep saying the same thing over and over again. It's like, shut up. So when you have a product and a developer does not put their product out, the developer is literally breaking the law. It's not enforced, and that sounds goofy, but I'm just telling you the way it is. And everyone's like, well, go ahead and prove it. Okay, it's simple. Every other company in existence who has a product is required to do required to do two things that the game developers are somehow being exempt from. Oh, that doesn't prove anything. If every company in existence in the world is required to do two specific things, and you're going to tell me that that's not how it works? Yes, it is how it works. So to try to even argue that point after the game developers are not being held to that same standard, but the same people arguing that that the game developers don't have to be held to a standard are the same ones in line at the first sight of any other company doing anything else that they allow the game developers to get away with. It's fucking ridiculous. The hypocrisy level of this musical chairs bullshit is fucking out of control. Now, that brings me to the point where I'm going to wrap up this video with everything I just explained, because I needed to get this out to show you, starting from the email to ZeniMax and Bethesda, to BioWare, to the inconsistencies in the Mass Effect, to what gamers do, to what they do to reviewers, to what they do to me, to what's been ongoing with the gaming realm. As you can start to see, this is a repetitive pattern that has not changed throughout history, that nobody seems to want to learn from, and everybody's taking the chair from everybody else and going in a fucking circle. And you wind up doing the same thing over and over and over again, even though the pattern alone proves what is going on. And so that brings me to Cyberpunk 2077. Now, a lot of people are going to fucking hate me for this, what I'm about to say. I don't give a shit about first-person shooters. I don't give a fuck if that game's in first person. If you're green, I don't give a fuck. The issue isn't about the game. If you like the game, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like bugs in games, then the game's for you. None of that shit is fucking relevant. Here is the entire point to everything I just said and went over in this entire video. If you are fucking stupid enough to buy a game in this day and age after every fucking thing people have complained about in the past 10 years or so, with every game developer, with every fucking argument on the same fucking problems, and you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you got exactly what you fucking deserved. Period. So, the fact that every one of these fuckwads bought Cyberpunk 2077, especially what's been going with the gaming realm right now, then you got exactly what you deserved, and I don't feel fucking bad for you in the slightest. CD Projekt Red did exactly everything that every other game developer that you all condemned for doing, but somehow CD Projekt Red was exempt from this, just like game developers are exempt from instructions, is they fucking lied. Period. And the people who said they were lying got attacked by the fucking people, just the same way people attack me saying I'm lying, and then they come to find out I was right, and they come to find out these people were right. So every fucking person that bought this game, you don't have a right to bitch you bought it because of all the fucking arguments and all the horse shit and all the fucking videos you made in the past for the past 10 years about ZeniMax, Bethesda, EA, BioWare, fucking Naughty Dog, The Last of Us, Sony. You have no fucking business complaining. You got a lot of balls, so shut the fuck up. That's my message to you cocksuckers who bought Cyberpunk 2077 and tried to blame the fucking company because you're fucking stupid enough to buy it. If you are dumb enough to buy a game in this day and age, fuck you. You get exactly what you deserve. How fucking dare you blame the game company? You as a consumer are the dumbest motherfucker on the face of this planet for buying that shit after all the shit and all the shitstorms that you guys caused with everything else in this entire fucking gaming community. After all the shit you gave Bethesda, ZeniMax, you continue buying the shit, and then you bitch that the company does it, and then you turn around and do this because it's CD Projekt Red? Fuck you. That's my message to you pricks that bought this game. You got a lot of fucking balls after the shit you did to do that. And I'm not letting CD Projekt Red off the hook because they're no different than any other game developer. Fuck them too. The whole point here is that these cocksucking companies keep putting this shit out and you dumb motherfuckers keep buying it. And then you bitch that they fucking fucked you over after you fucking bitch that they're great. Fuck off. You don't have a right to blame these companies for your stupidity, knowing that they're going to do it, and these companies put the shit out to get you to fucking buy it. Now, here is the fucking problem that I have with everybody in general with this. If a company doesn't put a game out right away, you bitch because they didn't put the game out. If they put the game out, you bitch because the game is broken. But the company said, oh, you want the game? Here you go. I would fucking laugh my ass off if CD Projekt Red purposely released this game to you pricks to teach you a fucking lesson that this is what you get when you want to bitch and moan a game that you want isn't out yet. You want it out, they gave it to you, and it's in this condition. Fuck off. You don't get to complain. You wanted a game that you were bitching that they weren't putting out, that they shouldn't have listed it in the first place, but you bitched. You wanted the game out, CD Projekt Red gave it to you, and now you have a fucking problem with it? No, you don't get to do that. Fuck off. I don't give a shit what reviewer you are. I don't give a shit who you have ties with the company. The problem I have with the company is the company should not be catering to you motherfuckers to have you pricks turn around and deal with this shit on this end of it. No, you don't get to fucking bitch about this. And anybody that has a fucking problem with this, you can kiss my ass. Because this is fucking ridiculous that you people keep doing the same shit over and over again. You get called out on it in our history. Just like I keep telling people, mods break your fucking game in Skyrim and all these Elder Scrolls games and fucking games that ZeniMax put out. No, you don't. No, you don't. And then somebody puts that information up. Oh, yeah, it breaks your game. I just fucking told you that, you cocksuckers. And the fucking same thing with CD Projekt Red. You bitch that these game companies break this shit. Oh, I deserve a refund. You want them to put it out. And when they put it out, you bitch. If they don't put it out, you bitch. Fuck off. So, for those of you that are just tuning in, that rant I just did is how people have to be talked to. That is what I mean when I tell people I set the tone for how people have to be talked to. If I were CD Projekt Red, I would come out and tell you people, hey, you wanted a game, you got what you deserve. You ain't getting on us because you wanted us to come out with that. But at the same time, a game developer should not ever be saying, we're going to release this. No, they shouldn't fucking do that. That's their fault, and that's on them. That's fucking retarded too. But this is going in a circle between the game developers and the gamers. And neither one of you want to fucking take responsibility for your actions, and you're both the fucking blame. Every one of you inside the gaming community is is to blame because stupidity is at an unprecedented level. You are gone fucking loopy, stupid, beyond the fucking point. And it's fucking ridiculous. And again, I will tell everybody watching this right now. After all of the bitching everybody fucking did with Fallout 76 and Bethesda and the controversy surrounding them, you are going to go out and buy Elder Scrolls 6, even though they said it was going to be made with the same game engine as Fallout 76 was, and you bitched about that for no end, for months on end, said the game's fucking broken, you made this big controversy about it, and then you're going to go buy a game with that same engine, and you are going to put up the same fucking complaints, and somebody needs to punch you in the fucking head for being that stupid. That is exactly what's going to happen. It's happened with every fucking game they've made in the past 10 years, every single release. And it's going in a fucking circle, and to deny that that is going on when the pattern alone shows this. You've done it with every game in the past 10 years. If it's not true, then why is the pattern there? Why is it the same complaints on every fucking forum? It's ridiculous. Every game, every complaint, it's the same exact thing. It's just being done with a different game. And the companies are doing this shit. And again, this reverts back to the game developers going to work for these cocksuckers. They're fucking just as bad too. When are you fucking people going to wake up, pull your fucking money together, make your own fucking company, say the fucking hell with Bobby Kotick, the hell with fucking, EA, Bobby Kotick and EA, fuck Rockstar. Rockstar's just as fucking bad too, because they don't deal with these fucking assholes. Instead, they just, mass punish people. And, the same horse shit with, Randy Johnson, or whatever the fuck his name is, that works for 2K Games. Somebody needs to fucking punch him in the fucking head too, because he's fucking everybody over, and you guys keep going to work for these people, and then you keep getting fucked over. Fuck you, you get what you deserve. And same thing with you gamers. Stop buying this shit. It's that simple. I don't give a fuck what your opinion, what your fucking bottom line is. Stop buying this shit and then pitching and moaning. You don't get the bitch and moan when you're buying this shit after you just ranted for fucking months on end that these companies are fucking people over. I feel bad for them. You don't feel fucking bad for them. You fucking keep buying the shit. Stop it. You're fucking retarded. All right, so that's enough on that. Let me read some stuff. See here. Let me hear. Okay, James. This is about the word instruction. Okay, this is about the word instruction. Do you want me? If I have to pull this video up, I will. Okay, this is about what the definition of instruction is. Not about what somebody's opinion on a dictionary you use or whatever it is. Now, I have to tell you right now that in the video I made about the word instruction, I used two separate dictionaries that the world uses. I used the Merriam-Webster's, and I used the, what the fuck is the other, is it Yale? No, hold on. Let me look up the video. I'm fucking like at a standstill here. My point is that when I made this video, I had two of the used the dictionaries that everybody goes by. Everybody in the world goes by these two dictionaries. In other words, these two dictionaries have the say over anything else. And one of them is Merriam-Webster's, and the other is Oxford. Sorry, it was Oxford. The Oxford Dictionary and Merriam-Webster's are the ruling dictionaries. What is in both of them is what the definitions are. No, I'm not even going to get into arguments with people, because that is the overruling dictionary. So everybody uses these two dictionaries over anything else. When I made this video, I had both dictionaries open, and I used both dictionaries to define the word. You will find that both dictionaries said the exact same thing. Not verbatim, but they said the same thing. So, the word instruction, as defined by both Oxford and Merriam, which are the dictionaries that everybody in the world uses, that take precedence over anything else, both have a very specific definition of what that word means that are in agreement. It's not this one has a different definition than this. They both have the same setup and definition where the agreement on what the word is the same from both. So, when a gamer says instructions, what they're saying is what's in those videos. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Informal definition doesn't mean jack shit. because my point. Okay, let me clarify what I mean here. So, because I see what you're saying now. Okay, so a bunch of people in a mass consensus don't make a fact. It makes a group of people that all have the same agreement or the same viewpoint in agreement. That does not make a fact. That just makes a bunch of people with the same viewpoint. Okay, again, when you're dealing with a group of people in a game, okay, so for example, let me separate this with the term DPS. DPS, damage per second. Okay, that is what the definition of damage per second is, okay? But when you're in an MMO, MMOs have adopted the general use of the word as applying it to very specific character builds. Even though every character is a DPS by default, because damage per second, that's all it stands for, when it comes to MMOs, okay, the generalized category of people in MMOs have all agreed that the term DPS does not just mean damage per second. It has a very specific definition. Even though that isn't the definition, that's just the mass agreement in the gaming realm. Now that I'm not going to argue with. That's fine because that doesn't change anything. That's not going to do anything. Right. But when it comes to the word instructions or explained, what the community decides is not relevant. It's not a valid count. It's not even a valid point. What the community agrees to is not relevant to what the actual definition is. When you're talking about a paid product in an instructions or the word explained, and gamers want to use that term in a game that's paid for, then now you're going by what the dictionary definition says, not what the group agreement is. That is the difference. Because one is just some application that people will apply to, as in, hey, great, it's not hurting anything. Great, okay, you can argue that. But yeah, it's not doing anything because it doesn't affect anything. But when you're talking about a paid product, that's when things change. There is no informal definition. People can say whatever it is they want. But when they use the word instruction, because they're applying it to a place that's in a paid product, where they're using the word to try to actually invoke an argument out of somebody by trying to talk down to them, now the group agreement doesn't exist. It's what the actual definition says. So the point being is people are trying to use the term instructions to troll people and then cause an argument with them just because they don't like them. It's being weaponized. So there are two distinct definitions here. So the difference is when you say instructions, that word, it doesn't matter what you think that word means. When you are saying, well, did you read the instructions for this? You're literally saying what you paid for, and part of what you paid for is given to you by messages from the game developer in the game. That's what you're saying. That's what these people are saying. In their mind, they're saying, well, a group agreement, if everybody clicked on it, that means it's explained. That is no relevance to this because the term instruction is now being applied to what you paid for. Doesn't matter what anybody thinks. The term DPS, you don't pay for that. That just comes with the territory. But when you say, did you watch the tutorial or did you read the instructions? You're literally saying, did you pay attention to what the game designers gave you for what you paid for? That's what you're saying. That's what is being said. So the difference between the DPS comment and the actual instruction comment, they are two different things. One applies a group consensus just because it doesn't really apply to anything. The other is actually saying it applies to the actual paid product that the developer is required to tell you. That's the difference. So, you don't have to agree with me on it, but that's not going to change because that's a fact. So, like I said, and this is where everything else I said applies. Because you can't say, did you read the instructions, and use a generalized consensus of what you think instruction means in a game you paid for, which is a product put out by a company that every company in the world that has a product has instructions for it. That's what I'm telling you. That is why the term applies completely differently, because it's not a generalized consensus. It's what every company in existence has to go by. So if you're going to say, did you read the instructions? You're literally saying every company in existence that is required to put this in there by law, because they have to, is also applied here, and because you paid for it. If it's free, that's a different story. Doesn't even matter. They don't have to say shit if it's free, because you're not paying for it. When you pay for a game, you are absolutely 100% entitled to get how to play it spoon-fed to you by the developers. That is part of what you're paying for. That is the developer's job. That's the point. That's something that gamers refuse to accept, but it's a fact. So if I pay a developer for a product, I am entitled. That's not even a fucking, you can say, oh, you're entitled. Yeah, I am entitled. Do you know why? Because I paid for the product. I am entitled to that. So this is why if you buy a car, you are entitled to have the car run. A car dealership, by law, is not allowed to sell you a lemon, and you can actually their company can get fucked for that. And there are certain things that are required by law for the company to do. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what, if a bunch of car dealerships, a bunch of salesmen from car dealerships decided to say, well, the lemon law doesn't apply to us. Guess what? Their consensus doesn't fucking matter, because the law says it does. So if you get sold a lemon by one of these people, the community's going to tell you, oh, just accept it. Oh, well, you bought the car. The law says that doesn't fucking matter what they say. They're not allowed to do it. So, see, again, James, if you're dealing with the word instruction, that implies it's in the game by the developer. And when you're dealing with games, it's in the product that you paid for, that is required by law to be there. That's not an argument you can have to say, well, we agree that it doesn't matter. The law doesn't give a fuck if you guys agree that the instructions shouldn't be there. The law states that they have to, and the law is what takes precedence, not people's opinions. The law doesn't say DPS is required. It doesn't, because that has nothing to do with the game. That has nothing to do with anything. That's just terminology being used. The law states the instructions have to be there. Your opinion isn't fucking relevant. And what backs that up is because every company in existence has instructions in warning labels on every product they do. Why? Because it's required by law. How can people seriously sit and say what every company in existence in the world has to do, but game developers don't have to follow that same procedure? I would seriously like somebody to explain that to me. The law states that if you don't explain what your product is and how to use it, you are not allowed to put the product out. Period. It's on the books under consumer protection laws, James. Go read it. Now, keeping in mind, I don't know what part of the world you're in, but when you're in the United States, and this is why I very carefully state, you can say what law you want. It's a consumer protection law, and it's not a specific place. It's the entire law as a whole. And on top of that, putting aside asking where it is, what law it's under, or where it is in the law, let me ask you a question. Take any product that's in your house right now, a shampoo bottle, toothpaste, bacon, any food in your fridge, okay? Anything that's around you, books, anything that's in your house, okay? And look at it. You will find two things on everything in your house. You will find two things on every car you buy. Two things on every food item you purchase on a menu. Two things on every item you pick up in a store. Warning labels and instructions. The fact that it's on every single thing, everywhere you go, no matter where you are in the world, and no matter what product it is, guess what? It's a law. There is a reason why those are on every single product. Warning labels and instructions. They are required to be on there. Just like food is required to have nutrition labels on them. Food is required to list the ingredients. It's a requirement. It's not something you can fuck around with. Food has to require instructions. No, sorry, not instructions. It has to have the ingredient labels and dates. It has to have those two things on them. No matter where you go in the world, it has those same two things on every single food item. No, James, there's no such word as basic, and there is no such thing as a basic instruction. It's not. The definition of instruction means the information is in the game for every mechanic in the game. There's no such thing as a basic instruction. You either have instructions or you don't. There is no basic. That's a word that people decided to put in there because of level of difficulty of understanding. But there is no basic instruction. It's either explained or it's not. So, the fact that I'm getting at here, the fact that it's like you're not connecting. If every product in existence has instructions and warning labels, there's a reason why that is. Every product in the world has those. The reason why is because they're required. That is why every product has them. The fact that people don't seem to want to understand that concept also applies to games is mind-boggling. A game is just the same as any other product. If I hand you a board game, guess what? There's warnings on there that says if there are pieces in it, warning, this is a choking hazard, do not give this to 3-year-olds, and there's instructions on how to play it. The reason why is not because of convenience, it's because you paid for the product, and as a product maker, you are required to instruct the people how to play it, period, or use it, or warn them, or whatever. If you even open up your vehicle and you try to change the oil or the coolant on your car, it literally says don't open when it's hot. Your car, your tires, it literally states how much PSI is on there for pounds per square inch, because if you don't, it overfills it. Everything, even the gas pumps say do not top off your car. Do not smoke when you're by the car, when you're pumping gas. There is a reason why every gas station has those on there. They are required by law to put it on there, even if they disagree with it, because some fucking moron is going to smoke near the gas station. So by putting warning labels on there and instructions, the company is exempt, because if they don't, the company's in trouble. They are required. Why is a wet floor sign required to be out when they mop a floor? That's a requirement. A company cannot violate that or they're going to get in trouble. That's the point I'm making. The disconnect here, James, you seem to not understand that everything I'm talking about applies to the game developer. If I open a screen and show what the hell is this screen, the game developer failed to include the instruction in that. That's a base fact. Because an instruction on how to use a screen is going to be there when you open the screen. It's supposed to be, that information is supposed to be being supplied by the game developer. Not an outside source, not somebody on YouTube, not call the company, not guesswork by the player. That's not a player's responsibility to guess, unless the game is free. But go watch my Mass Effect video, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So, as I stated, the people that are causing the problems in the gaming industry are the fucking morons buying the games. And the idiot developers that are going to work for these assholes. Those are the people that are causing these fucking problems. Okay, stop putting the word basic in your sentence, James. If you're gonna say instructions, do not put the word basic in there. Just say the word instructions. Stop putting words in there that don't exist. When it comes down to it, James, there's no such thing as basic instructions. James, the word basic doesn't exist in your sentence. It's not a thing. Stop posting it. Seriously, stop using the word basic. Stop saying basic instruction. It's either instructions or don't say it. It's dumb. You can't say that. It's not a thing. So basically my whole point of this entire, everybody in gaming. Now, James, I'm going to point something out to you that I did at the beginning of this. I'm going to point something out. I don't know when you got here with this video, when you got in here, but I'm going to point something out about the way I wrote this screen, okay? And it's to prove a point that what I'm going to show you isn't the function of what I'm talking about, or it isn't like the actual context of what I'm talking about. It's to show you what is going on with a visual. Okay, if you read this statement that's on the screen, it says, in gaming, everyone is to blame because stupidity is at an unprecedented level. If you notice, I have a capital S on stupidity, and it's in the middle of a sentence. The reason why is because that emphasizes the severity level of that word stands out because I capitalized it to put the emphasis on stupidity. James, there is no such thing as basic instructions. You either understand what they either told you what was there or they didn't. There is no, I can look at a screen and try to guess. No. You either open the screen and the developers are explained it, so you are you supposed to even do something on the screen, or you don't. If you open a screen and nothing's there and the developers don't put a message on the screen, then the screen doesn't do anything. So, and like I said, go watch my Mass Effect video and you'll see what I'm talking about. Sorry, my Mass Effect 2 video. Go watch that. And go watch my Mass Effect 3 video as well. You'll see what I'm talking about. Alright, so anyway, the point back to what I was saying, James, is I capitalized the word stupidity. And in the midst of everything I'm talking about, you didn't even realize that was capitalized. Or I shouldn't say you didn't, but most people are going to overlook that. And the reason why is because I convoluted the entire, I shoved so much shit in front of that even though this is not important, the fact that I overloaded everything over this to overshadow the emphasis on stupidity is the point. You got so wrapped up on everything else that you missed this word's not even supposed to be capitalized because it's not in a sentence. But I capitalized it specifically to guise it in the middle of this clusterfuck. Now, here's something else that's interesting. The word everyone is also capitalized. That was probably overshadowed because I kept applying the emphasis on this, which means I got you to look here instead of actually looking at the issue, and I got you to forget about this because of the entire issue as a whole. That's the problem with everything. There are subtle things in here that need to be paid attention to, or, subtle things that are important enough to change the course of the way things operate in the conversation or the outcome or the context, that it gets convoluted. So anytime even the slightest imperfection in a conversation that somebody's stating that they're wrong on, instead of being wrong, they will argue this. Hold on. Hey, what's up? Yeah, did you hear me lay into those fuckers, people? I'm going to end this stream in a minute. Give me 1 second. I'll talk to you in a minute. Give me 1 second. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to end this. And for those of you that are, want to know what's going on with the definitions and everything else, I'll put that in the description below this video, and you can watch it. And my Mass Effect video, James, you can go watch that. And my Mass Effect 3 video, you can go watch that, because that'll explain everything. So, until next time, keep the stupidity level real. Steel Gamer signing off. Have a good day or night wherever you are.